Hello and welcome to the channel. Cheryl Orange is speaking out on behalf of her friend Latavia McGee, one of the victims who was attacked by the Mexican cartel. In my honest opinion, I don't think anything will come of this. Everyone's just speculating, pulling up their criminal history and everything. The story just keeps getting more deep and unknown, so we'll just have to go with what we already know. The cartel already turned in the members who they say created this heinous act, and I think that's all we'll get.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry it's under these circumstances. How are you doing right now?
It's hard. I'm trying one day at a time. It's a lot to process.
So you were the first to actually alert authorities in Brownsville about that your friends were missing or hadn't made it back. Can you let's just start by telling us about why you and your friends were planning to go to Mexico?
Latavia is my best friend. She hit me up and asked me to join her, to accompany her in a trip to Brownsville, Texas for cosmetic surgery. And we began the road trip. We left out on Thursday and traveled to Texas. Once I got there, I was then informed that her procedure was being done across the border. In that event, we were just arriving in Brownsville, Texas at Studio 6, and I didn't have proper identification, so I couldn't join her to go across to the border, which left me back at the hotel.
So because you didn't know you'd be
you
didn't know you'd be going out of the country, you didn't know you'd be going to Mexico, you didn't bring ID with you. Did you travel with her and the others to Brownsville, or did you meet them there?
No, we all traveled together. Okay. It was a road trip.
So did you have any idea about threats down in Matamoros or what it was like across the border? Or did Latavia?
No, sir, not at all. Not to my knowledge. I'm assuming that she didn't know because I know her. Like, she's not going to travel to danger.
Did you actually try to cross the border with them and were turned away, or did you just realize before even trying that you didn't have ID?
No, she told me that when I told her I didn't have my ID with me, they dropped me off at the hotel and said that they would return in 15 minutes. That's why I was so worried and in fear, because it didn't seem right. 15 minutes had gone by, they were not there.
So how long did you wait after 15 minutes? I mean, it must have been agonizing.
When they dropped me off at the hotel, I had got into the shower. I showered and I laid on the bed. I think I was exhausted from, the long hours, the long ride. So I ended up falling asleep. I woke up and it was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So from 9 to 5, I went down to the office, the clerk in the hotel, and I asked him, had my friends come back or attempted to, come in and out the hotel, come back to the hotel. And he told me no. So I called my boyfriend, I called Tay's brother, and I said, something's not right. And I texted my roommate. I said, something's not right. 9 o'clock got here, 12 o'clock got here, midnight, and then now we're into Saturday morning at 10:23. It's literally a few minutes before checkout. I'm like, there's no way. I called the cops immediately.
And I know you had their luggage, you had their things. Is that right?
I had 3 of the 3 male victims' belongings. I retrieved it after it became 11 o'clock.
At what point did you learn about what had actually happened? When did you see the video?
They sent it to me, I think, It had to be like between Saturday night and Sunday morning, like the wee hours.
What did you think when you saw that? I mean,
I dropped the phone. My body clenched up. I dropped the phone. My stomach was in knots. And I just began praying. I just began praying for the return of them. I didn't know much about the cartels, and I started looking up videos, and it was bad. It was bad. I began to think the worst, and just thank God for her daughter, her 18-year-old daughter, Tay's daughter. She held me together. She held me together. She made me keep the faith.
Have you talked to her since? How have you been able to talk to Latavia? Have you talked to her daughter? How is she doing?
Yeah, me and her daughter speak every so many minutes. And yes, I have spoken to Tay. It put me at ease a little bit. It was music to my ears to hear her voice.
What do you want people to know about Latavia and the others, about your friends?
Oh, it fell again. I want the world to leave us alone and stop being mean. I want them to have a heart, because everyone has a past. What happened to her wasn't right. She didn't deserve it. She's a beautiful person. When I spoke to Latavia yesterday, she said, thank you. She told me thank you, and said she was worried about her. This lady was facing death damn near. And she said, I was worried about you.
She said she was worried about you.
I love her. She's the best. Right?
Wow.
She's a beautiful person.
Well, Cheryl, I'm so sorry for what you and your friends have gone through, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and I wish you the best. I hope you get to see her soon.
Thank you. I appreciate that.